What's up YouTube? I'm Josh Newlin, and in this video I'm going to explain why college soccer either is or isn't the best way to go pro. Alright, just to be clear from the very beginning, I am a college soccer player wanting to go pro. So if it really was impossible, I would not be trying this at all. And I'm not just here to bash on college soccer like, ugh, it's so pointless and useless. I am a college soccer player. I'm a sophomore at an NCAA Division III school, and I'm giving you my honest opinion combined with many other people's, as well as some stats and comparisons. So let's just start with the basics. First of all, college soccer, it's meant to last 4 years. Most players that play are between 18 and 23. Typically, while you're in high school, you're reaching out to coaches, to schools, trying to apply to the school, get offers, scholarship offers from coaches, get interest. You will commit and sign to a school your senior year. Then after you graduate, you'll start your freshman year of college. You'll spend 4 years playing and studying there, and then you'll graduate from college as well. So your years of 18 to 22, 23, when it comes to your playing career, are in many ways the best years for development. You know, a lot of times in Europe, that's where you're seeing these wonder kids come out of nowhere. Christian Pulisic was 18, 19. We started getting on the scene. Mason Greenwood's around that age. And then by the time those players are 22, 23 or so, that's when they really start cementing themselves as a true star and not just a prospect anymore. So the first thing that most people worry about that is oftentimes most important is the cost of it all. It is very expensive. Prices of tuition or just overall cost can range from $15,000 a year to $80,000 a year depending on where you go. That's why you hear people talk so much about offers, scholarship offers. These will help you pay for the cost that it takes to go to school. And without scholarships, virtually nobody would be able to pay for college on their own. If you don't have enough scholarship money or money out of your pocket, a lot of people have to take out loans to pay for it. And many people live the rest of their lives in debt just from paying for college. And if you're trying to make it professionally in football, that's something that's going to be hard because especially your first few years trying to play professionally, unless you're some huge star that's going to play in a big league right away, you're going to have to be paying off those loans on top of trying to provide for yourself or your family if you have one. You also have to think about while you're at school, while you're playing college soccer, how you're trying to pay for that, how you're trying to pay for your own food, if you need new clothes here and there, gas, all of that. So a lot of players and student athletes have to work jobs on top of going to school and competing in their sport, which takes away time from studying, from practicing, from working out. And there's quite a few guys on my team that, you know, over this summer, over this quarantine, they were just working and they didn't really train or work out much. And they were working just so they could pay for school or at least have a little bit of extra money when they went back to school. But when they show up, you know, they haven't improved. If anything, they've gotten worse, they've gotten out of shape. And that's something that can really hinder your development. So I know this is easier said than done, but I think, you know, in high school, if you really want to play in college, you want to get a degree and you want to develop as a player, play at a high level, really try to put as much work in high school that you can. While you shouldn't really have to worry too much about money in high school, put that extra time into training, into getting good grades so you can get scholarships. And then when you are in college, you can focus more and pour more of your energy into school, into soccer, instead of having to work on top of that, and that will inevitably take away time from your studying, from your training as well. One of the next really big problems with college soccer is how the season is set up. We play about 20 games or so from late August pretty much to November. Typically teams are playing 2 games a week, and for my schedule specifically in our conference, our schools play on Fridays and Sundays. So if you just have a little bump or bruise that normally be out for a few days, you're probably missing a whole weekend, which is 2 games, which that's a significant amount of your season right there alone. And it can be pretty overwhelming especially because the season is in the fall. So for the freshmen that haven't experienced college yet, you're just pretty much thrown right into the season. You're missing classes, you're training pretty much every day. You have games twice a week, and the season is over like that. Then once that season is over, just mentally a lot of guys get burnt out. They want to take time off. Then physically a lot of guys are recovering from injuries. And during the season they probably felt a lot of pressure to just try to push through it and keep playing since the season is so short. We'll just get to the end and then I'll deal with it after. But then after the season, it haunts them for a long time. And it's not good health-wise. In the spring, most teams just have some training sessions for a matter of weeks and some scrimmages as well. But the days that you are allowed to practice is limited in the spring. So for much of the off season, it is up to players themselves to organize their practices, to get to training, to get to work out. And it is hard to get the whole team on the same page about training and working out. With that being said, in some ways it is nice because in the spring you can work more, you can take more credit hours of classes. You do have more time to train on your own and really focus in on your weaknesses. But at the same time, the off season feels like an eternity, especially this year because of this pandemic. We won't be training again until the spring, so it'll have been more than a full year since we've played in an actual season. And we all noticed, at least at first, a significant drop of the level of play, even in the pros, with a few months break because of the restart. So I think that's really going to hurt college soccer, being a year or a year and a half in between seasons. Like I said, this is one of the biggest criticisms of college soccer, and some big coaches and names out there are calling for it to change. They want it to be a season that's played almost for the whole school year. Guys like Stanford's head coach, which they won 3 national championships in a row, and Maryland's head coach, who recently won a national championship, have both called on the NCAA to change it, to extend the season longer, make just 1 game a week be played. So I think this is something that over time the NCAA will have a lot of pressure to change, and they will. But for now, that's the way it is. Next thing is something I think not enough people think about, but distractions. When you go to college, no matter how big or how small, there's a lot of people that just want to enjoy their time, just want to party, they want to do whatever they want. And that means lots of partying, drinking, smoking. And even apart from that, just wasting a lot of time and money that could have been focused into something more productive. So you have this conflict of, I want to have a good time, I want to enjoy it, but I also really want to play pro, really want to win a championship, and it can be hard. And something else that has been huge since I've came to college is playing at a D3 school. There are very few players that really want to go pro, even players on the team that really want to win something, really want to work hard for it. Because at the lower levels, a lot of players just signed at a lower level to stay closer to home, to enjoy, soccer, but not have to take it too seriously. But they still get competition, and a lot of times there isn't the same competitiveness within the team, even within the whole division, as there is at higher levels. So the distractions and the attitudes are something that can hinder your development, and just distract you from what's really more important in the long run. And of course, an important aspect, if you want to play pro and you're going to college, what is the skill level like? I think it is still vastly superior to high school and club. It is a lot sloppier than professional soccer, but there is still much better skill and technique than the vast majority of club teams out there. And if you want to be successful in college, most of those players have to develop physicality, speed, strength. The speed of play is very high, but that is because a lot of schools press a lot or chase around the ball, because a lot of college soccer players don't have a whole lot of skill while under pressure to still make the right decisions, have good touches, make the right passes. As far as the coaching goes, a lot of coaches were previous college soccer players. There's not a whole lot of coaches that were coaching professional and then go to college soccer, or vice versa. Quite a few college soccer coaches, though, have had at least some semi-pro playing experience. Of course, the tactical coaching, even the technical coaching, definitely most of the time isn't on the same level as semi-pro or professional teams, but again, much superior to high school or clubs are for the most part. If you really put in the work, You really get feedback, you listen, you learn. You will not stagnate for your 4 years in college. You will develop greatly. Will it be as well as if you were playing with a fully professional or a high-level semi-pro team? No, you probably will develop soccer-wise much quicker, much better playing as semi-pro or pro team, but college soccer will develop you. It will get you better as an athlete, as a soccer player, as a student. Now, what are the actual chances of you going pro from college? Pretty much every survey, stat, whatever has differed, but the majority of them seem to agree that between 0.5 and 2% of college athletes will go pro. And that is a very small amount. I don't know what the percentage of going from a professional academy to an actual pro team or to the first team is, but I also want to give you guys some context into that stat, because just like the stats of going from high school to college, you've got to think about the context of this. First of all, like I just mentioned, with the mentality, with the attitude, and a lot of college teams, there's a lot of players that don't want to go pro. And I don't know the exact stat on that, but let's just say for fun, that's 50% of all college soccer players. They wouldn't even say they want to go pro. Okay, now out of that 50% that say they want to go pro, how many of them are actually working and doing what it takes to become a pro? They're training 5 to 6 days a week. They're getting gym workouts in. They're eating right, they're getting enough sleep, they're watching film, they're watching a lot of soccer. They're trying to mimic the lifestyle and the training of an actual pro. Again, I don't know what the actual percentage of that number would be, but for fun, let's say that's 10% out of the 50% that say they'd want to go pro. So then what originally looked like, wow, only 0.5 to 2%, well, when you really think about it, again, this is just a number I'm throwing out there. Let's say 10% of all college soccer players say they want to go pro. They're working and doing what it takes to become pro. Out of that 10%, then you have 1 or 2 guys out of those 10% that really will go pro. That is something you have to think about. Again, like I said, I'm not here to just bash on college soccer. It's my goal and dream to play professionally, and I'm playing college soccer at a Division III school. If it wasn't possible, there wouldn't be all these stories of college soccer players that have done it, and college soccer players are still trying to do it. Now, for the bottom line, I believe that there is no better system in the world. If you want to get a degree and you want to play professionally at the same time in the same place at a high level, I don't think there's any better system in the world. However, if your goal is just to play pro and education is kind of second to that, it's not a big deal to you, then you should be trying to play pro out of high school. You should have been playing for an academy in high school or a high-level club, and once you graduate, you should be trying to play for semi-pro teams, or if you're a really good player, getting into higher level, fully professional teams. If you want a degree or education as much as you want to play pro, or you want to do them at the same time, I think it's the best system. It's very hard if you're trying to play fully professional while also getting a real degree. However, I think college soccer can be improved upon a lot. I think it will be forced to improve, or it will die out. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie to myself and say this is the absolute best way to go professional in America or anywhere in the world. No, but because I really want to get an education and I really want to play at the highest level at the same time, this is what I've chosen to do. So I think it is very important to remember what your goals, what your dreams are, to do your research, to figure out the cost, to figure out what your schedule will look like, and to decide, is this worth my investment? Is this worth my time? Is this even what I want to do? And you need to be realistic. The vast majority of players are not ready straight out of high school to go pro, to even go semi-pro. I think that is where college soccer works, and that's where it's going to be in the future. I think it's already kind of there. A lot of the players that are the top prospects, they're going abroad, they're going into MLS academies, straight into MLS first teams. And a lot of the players that aren't ready right out of high school, you can go to college, you can spend 4 years there. It is expensive, the schedule isn't the best, but you're going to develop. And if you truly put the work in, just like anything in life, if you truly put the work in, you can make it happen. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I know at first it sounded like I was just talking about the negatives, but at the end I really wanted to come together, give the bottom line, give the full truth about it and not just be biased towards it because I am a college soccer player, or be biased towards it because there's things about it that piss me off. If you want to play in college, I have a playlist all about how to get recruited, different aspects, things you have to do, and tutorials explaining how to do those things. If you just want to know more, see more of the lifestyle of a college soccer player, I also have a playlist about college soccer, and you can subscribe. But thank you again for the support. I'll see you on the next one.